Hello everybody, my name is Sinkar and welcome back to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Structure Deck series on the Egyptian God card Structure Deck. So, today, what have I got for you? Today I have 3 lots of each Egyptian God Structure Deck. So that's 6 decks total put together into one awesome Super God deck that it works! It actually works. I didn't think it would be possible with these decks, but with 3 of each deck, this works really well. Now, 3 of each deck in New Zealand costs $120. Is it worth $120? Probably not so much. I gotta admit, it's probably not worth as much as it costs. Mind you, in America I believe it's $60, which is definitely a lot better, at least by New Zealand standards, so maybe $60 is reasonable. But $120, would I do it? Probably not, unless you're working for something else and you really like this idea, then yeah, it's not a meta deck, but it's definitely better than all the decks we've made so far. Now then, last week I made a Obelisk and Slifer deck combined, just one of each. I've done a triple Obelisk deck, triple Slifer deck. Go check those out by clicking the card above. Now let's get on to the video. So this deck is very straightforward to play, and that's why it works so well, is because it's so straightforward and so easy. There are a lot of different strategies, of course, that you can make with 3 of each structure deck, but like why? Why, right? Why do that when we have the Divine on our side, right? Why make all these dark decks and shit when we have Divine Beasts, the only Divine Beast in the game except for Ra, of course. So let's get into this. So I'm just going to go through the deck list first, and then I'll explain everything to you afterwards. So first of all, of course, 3 Angel 01. This guy is absolutely amazing. Triple Angel 01. I've been over him enough. I mean, if you don't know how amazing this guy is, go watch the other videos. He's great. Next, a 1 Condemned Witch, 3 Obelisk the Tormentor, one of the main cards in the deck, 3 Ra's Disciple, 3 Reactor Slime, and 3 Slifer the Sky Dragon, the other main card in this deck. Pretty straightforward monster lineup, 3 of each of those monsters except for a Condemned Witch, only 16 monsters. It works well, it's pretty good. Next we got 3 Card Advance, 3 Double Summon, 1 Fist of Fate, 2 Forbidden Chalice, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 March of the Monarchs, Monster Reborn, 3 Soul Crossing, of course, 2 The True Name, and 1 Thunder Force Attack. This deck is mostly spell cards, hitting at 19 spells. All the spells are integral to the strategy though, in order to get out your Egyptian gods with this strategy. Finally, we have the traps, which is more for extra support. We've got 1 Metal Reflect Slime, 3 Reckless Greed, and 1 Ultimate Divine Beast. So, how does this deck run? If you haven't worked it out already, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Our main monsters, other than the Egyptian gods, of course, basically this deck is summon a god, win. That's the win condition, is getting out one of these bad boys and possibly March of the Monarchs, which is pretty solid win condition. With this deck, it is so easy to get out both gods, 2 of 1, even 3 gods all at once. It is so easy. Like, if you have any combination of cards, then you're good. You're set, basically. You summon multiple gods. You just throw out gods after gods after gods until you win. That's the beauty of this deck, and even if they manage to get through them, you have Ultimate Divine Beast to bring them back every time they try and hit you. So basically the strategy is summon Ra's Disciple or Reactor Slime. These guys will get 3 monsters out on the field just like that. So Ra's Disciple will summon 2 more of himself, Reactor Slime will summon 2 tokens, 2 slime tokens, as well as himself, which is 3 monsters on the board. Then after that, you have a lot of options to bring out a god that turn. So we've got Angel 01, who not only can special summon himself, but can also give you an X tribute summon if he's been special summoned. Got Card Advance, which not only rearranges the top 5 cards of your deck, but also gives you an extra tribute summon. And we've got 3 double summons, which just gives you an extra normal summon to summon your god card. So that's the basics, is bust out 3 monsters, double summon Card Advance, Angel 01, bust out a god. Now Angel 01 also works in other ways, that he can special summon himself. So if your opponent has 2 monsters and all you've got is your Angel 01, you also got Soul Crossing. Steal their 2 monsters, special summon that Angel 01. Or if they have 1 monster, this works too, and you've got Angel 01 and Condemned Witch, who doesn't bring out 3 3 copies of herself, so you summon Condemned Witch, special summon Angel 01, Soul Crossing, steal your opponent's monster, tribute these 2, summon Obelisk. So Angel 01 has a lot of uses, as well as giving you that extra normal summon, which is integral to this deck, because these guys, Reactor Slime, Raz Disciple, they don't last very long. Don't expect them to live, right? If you leave them on the field for a turn unsupervised, they're probably gonna die. They're just gonna blow up. They're gonna implode. They're gonna self-destruct. They don't last, okay? So you want to tribute them the turn that you summon them. That's the point of this deck. Why is Condemned Witch here? Condemned Witch is just a good card. Originally, I had 3 Forbidden Chalice, but I decided to take one out for Condemned Witch. I mean, it wasn't much of a decision. It was just like, oh, there's no room for Condemned Witch. I'll take out a Forbidden Chalice, because Condemned Witch adds Forbidden Chalice to your hand, and also during your opponent's main phase, you can tribute her to summon Raz Disciple straight from your deck. You can also summon Angel 01, if I'm not mistaken. No, 1 level 4, not level 4 or lower. So you can summon Raz Disciple from your deck, and then obviously Raz Disciple summons 2 more of himself. So Condemned Witch works with Raz Disciple and adds Forbidden Chalice, so she's just an all-around good card. Plus, she's good looking. Damn, look at her. She hot. She hot, though. She hot. You want that in your deck. You want that fire. You want that spiciness, you know what I'm saying? Card Advance also has 2 properties, so it gives you that extra normal summon, obviously, to summon your god, and it rearranges the top 5 cards of your deck, which is amazing. So if you have, like, nothing you can do in your hand, and you're worried that the next card you draw next turn won't help you, Card Advance, rearrange top 5 cards of your deck, you're probably set go. But also, we use Card Advance with the true name, if you didn't know. So the true name is you can declare declare 1 card name, look at the top card of your deck, and if it is the card you declared, add it to your hand. Then you can add to your hand or special summon 1 divine monster from your deck. There's a lot of different things you can do with this. This makes it easy to summon 2 gods in 1 turn. Since you probably often have a god card in your hand, since we run 6 of them, it's pretty easy to get a god card in this deck, which was the main problem with all the other versions of the decks. So you can Card Advance 1 on top, add it to your hand, then use with true name, and then special summon another one from your deck, and then normal summon the one that you added in the first place. You got 2 gods. That's probably an OTK, especially if you normal summon it with Soul Crossing. Soul Crossing can steal up to 3 of your opponent's monsters to tribute for your god cards, and it tributes them, doesn't target, doesn't destroy, it outs Dragoon, it gets rid of everything. Same with Fist of Fate, can also out Dragoon, it gets rid of anything, negates card effects, doesn't target, destroys. It's a pretty awesome card. It's just the fact that you need to have Obelisk on the field to use its effect makes it less awesome, especially if you do it with Soul Crossing. You know, you don't really need to destroy their monsters when you just Soul Crossing them all away, basically, is the main thing. Same with Thunder Force Attack. You need Slifer, so if you have Obelisk, it's no good. If you don't have either of them, it's no good, so it's a pretty dead card. And also, again, we have Soul Crossing, which can get rid of your opponent's monsters more efficiently. You know, they might be immune to destruction. Metal Reflect Slime is only in here for Reactor Slime's effect. There is a good chance that that will go off. I haven't actually done it yet because normally I Reactor Slime and then immediately summon a god. But if you don't have a god in your hand, Reactor Slime uses effect, summon 2 tokens, then during your opponent's turn when they try and attack it, tribute it out to set a Metal Reflect Slime, which can also act as a second tribute if need be. So if they destroy your Reactor Slime plus 1 of the tokens, Special Angel 01, Special Reactor Slime, boom, you're set to go. And Reckless Greed, pretty straightforward. You need to draw cards. There was not much room for anything else in this deck. Nothing else really worked. I went for the 3 Reckless Greed because I thought drawing the cards would be the most important thing to get you to your combo pieces the quickest. Once you've got 1 god out, you probably won't need another. Also, it's a good surprise trap if anyone tries to attack Slifer and you just give it an extra 2,000 attack points, so that's fantastic. Ultimate Divine Beast is more of a backup plan. If one of your gods decides to die on itself, you just use this, protect your other monsters as well. Protect your tributes, bring it back, deal some damage when they run into your 4,000 point monster. It's pretty awesome. But this is definitely a backup plan, which is why there's only 1, because there is no way, there's not really any way to get your gods into the graveyard using just cards from the deck. Like, it doesn't come with a Foolish Burial or something. If it did, maybe I'd run more. But it just, yeah, there's not a lot of ways to get your gods in the grave other than summoning them and your opponent destroying them. So, yeah, it's not that likely to happen. Not that likely. March of the Monarchs, again, I would much rather recommend Mound of the Bound Creator if you have one. This card is just better, gives protection to your gods, it's a field spell, and it's just all around, it's better. It's got more effects, but unfortunately the structure deck doesn't come with it, so too much of the Monarchs. I was thinking of 3, but again, the fact that you need to have a god on the field for it to do anything, it just really, it puts me off a little bit. It is definitely good. If you would rather have 3 of them just for the protection, I would take out 1 of the double summons probably, or 1 Reckless Greed, or maybe a Forbidden Chalice. Now, 2 Forbidden Chalice. Why is that? Why not any of the other forbidden spells? It's because the other ones kind of suck. Okay, they don't do much. It of course depends on your opponent. Feel free to put them in your side deck. You never know what your opponent might whip out. But, you know, like Obelisk already can't be targeted. It's unaffected by the effects of other spell and traps. Obelisk can't be targeted, and these require targeting, so they don't work on Obelisk. They do work on Slifer, which is good, but we've got March of the Monarchs, does the same thing and lasts forever. Whereas Forbidden Chalice negates monster effects, so it can negate your opponent's card effects, which I think is much more important than preventing them from destroying yours. That is obviously very important, but again, we've got March of the Monarchs. And again, if you want 3, take out a double summon. I would probably, take out double summon, an Angel 01, or a Reckless Greed would probably be my go-to. Or even a Fist of Fate. It's definitely useful. I just haven't gotten it off yet. But yeah, so that's the basics of the deck. It's really straightforward. Summon 3 monsters, double summon out a god. Now let's check out some hands, shall we? Okay, so we're in solo mode now. I'm testing out some hands. So this is a pretty standard hand. Normally I would have a god. We do have a Reckless Greed though, which is good. Unfortunately, we have Metal Reflect Slime and Reactor Slime, which is not what you want to see, but we'll set those 2 and normal a Reactor Slime. It will most likely be killed. It will probably die. Also, something else I forgot to point out is Soul Crossing does give you an extra normal summon. It gives you an extra tribute summon, and it lets you tribute summon during your opponent's turn. So as soon as they summon 3 monsters, boom, Soul Crossing, assuming you've got a god. So next turn we draw. We'll probably survive. We got 3 monsters. Likelihood of you dying from that, yeah. And we've also got Metal Reflect Slime with its 3000 defense. So, remember to activate Reckless Greed during your main phase, unless your opponent is attacking a Slifer. But, like, after you draw, then Reckless Greed to draw more, because you'll be skipping the next 2 draw phases. Awesome! Slifer and Angel 01. So, like, we're set now, right? We're set. We got everything we need. So, if your opponent has 3 monsters, or even if they have 2 in this case, we can Soul Crossing. You know, if they have 1 as well, then you'll have 2 monsters. You even got this guy. We can Soul Crossing. Soul Crossing is definitely an option if your opponent has monsters. If your opponent don't have monsters, well, if your opponent doesn't have monsters, maybe they Raigeki you, right? And they destroyed all those. And they don't have any monsters. Who cares, right? Who cares? That's for sissies. For the rest of this turn. Yeah, so you can reveal Slifer the Sky Dragon. Special summon Angel 01, then he gives you an extra tribute summon. Then you normal summon Reactor Slime. Reactor Slime's effect gives you 2 more tokens. And then with Angel 01's effect, extra tribute summon, tribute 3, Slifer the Sky Dragon. Just like that. Second tribute summon. You've also got a Feather Duster to take care of any back row. 3000 attack, go. 3500 points of damage right there. And if they have monsters in the way, Soul Crossing. Right, just Soul Crossing it, you'll have even more cards in your hand because you won't have to get rid of these bad boys. If they destroyed all 3, like 2 of your tokens and 1 Reactor Slime through battle, they have 3 monsters. Soul Crossing, tribute them all. Hit for 4000 points of damage. Just like that, right off the bat. Easy. It's so easy to do, and it's amazing. I love it. I love it so much. It's brilliant. And then you can set a Reckless Greed. Now, you won't be drawing for the next turn. Any monster they summon in attack points loses 2000 attack. Slifer's effect, boom, gone. Problem taken care of. If they get something somehow bigger than 3000, if they summon a 5000 point monster out of nowhere, whoa! They attack. Reckless Greed. Now Slifer's got 5000 attack. GG. That monster's gone. And considering the highest attack points you can summon is 5000, gone. It's out. It's done. It's kablamo. That's awesome. That's the amazing power of this deck. Let's check out another hand, shall we? Alright, nice and easy. What do we got? Draw. Okay, again, not the best. I've had a lot better. Honestly, in this video, it's just given me the worst hands I've ever gotten, and it still works. It's still working, so we set this bad boy. I would summon a Reactor Slime in this case. With Wrath's Disciple, you definitely want the extra tribute summon, but with Reactor Slime, you can summon 3 monsters. Maybe it'll survive, you can summon 2 more. Maybe it won't if they try to attack it. Swap it out for Metal Reflect Slime. Which will unfortunately mean that you lose a token, which at least one. Like, let's assume they got 1 monster. You lose 1 token, but then you draw. Look at that, double summon. the odds of you not having everything you need, at least like in the second turn, it's very low. It's very low. Even in the first turn, I have pulled off OTKs with this deck several times. Look, even card advance now. So now we just Raz Disciple, special summon 2 more straight from the deck, hand or deck, 2 more, and then either double summon or card advance, whichever you prefer. We won't be drawing for 2 turns because of Reckless Greed. So tribute 3, and then whichever you prefer, whichever guard you prefer. If you're worried about targeting, go for Obelisk. If you're worried about your opponent's monsters or not worried about targeting, go for Slifer. So easy. Now let me show you what an OTK with this deck looks like, or even an, not quite an FTK because you need to be going second, but let me show you what an OTK looks like. This is almost what it looks like. This is very close actually. And the fact that that is so close, that's brilliant. Okay, I'm just gonna set up my hand to show you what this looks like because this is not unlikely to be able to pull something like this off. Yeah, there are several different ways to do this. Let's say I drew Soul Crossing. This is the hand, this was my starting hand, just added Soul Crossing, which is pretty likely. There's 3 of them in the deck. So what do we do here? What do we do? This also assumes your opponent has 3 monsters, right? Just 3. 3 monsters, and that's it. But mind you, with this hand, even if they have 2, you can summon Condemned Witch. Let's assume they have 2 then. Let's go with that. Why not? Summon Condemned Witch, right? Her effect will add Forbidden Chalice to your hand. Fantastic, love that. Then we card advance. Card advance will let us rearrange the top 5 cards of our deck. 3, 4, 5. Okay, then we gotta think, what do we want? Okay, the top 5 cards, even if we didn't draw Soul Crossing, card advance will put us into Soul Crossing, which gives us the win anyway. But we did draw Soul Crossing, let's assume. But if we didn't, card advance will probably give it to you. It's very, very likely that it will be there. March of the Monarchs, that sounds awesome. So the rest of them don't matter because we're gonna shuffle our deck anyway afterwards. But March of the Monarchs, we'll put that on top, right? Then we activate the True Name. So I declare the top card of my deck. March of the Monarchs. Then we have a look. Oh, look at that. It's March of the Monarchs. What are the odds? I'll add it to my hand. And then, straight from my deck, I can special summon Obelisk the Tormentor or Slifer, though we want to go for Obelisk for this strategy. Slifer won't have enough attack. Then we March of the Monarchs to protect our second Obelisk. Soul Crossing. Tribute your opponent's 2 monsters. You can even negate one of their effects if you really got it. Tribute your monster. Or if they have 3 monsters, just get rid of all 3 of them. And then extra tribute summon, go for Obelisk. Attack for 8,000. That's game. That's right there. And it can be done with Slifer as well. It can even be done without Soul Crossing. And instead you get, there it is, Thunder Force attack. That's the other way to do it. This hand probably wouldn't be able to pull it off. It depends on the next draw. Yeah, no, well, we need the True Name anyway, but I mean, it's pretty easy. Thunder Force can do the same thing, getting rid of all your opponent's monsters, though Soul Crossing is much easier and more efficient than going the Thunder Force route. And what I just showed you was also a guaranteed 8,000 with the double Obelisk, whereas Slifer's attack is split off and on. But it just goes to show how easy it is, like, to pull this stuff off. I mean, with this hand, set 2 pass, I guess. You can card advance if you really want. We got Reckless Greed though. Next turn, I mean, they'll probably attack Meta Reflex Line. Boom, you've got 3,000 points defending you. Nice and easy. Defense mode 3,000. Nice, good. We're set. True Name. True Name. We just True Named. We just True Named. Card advance. Rearrange top 5 cards of the deck. 2, 3, 4, 5. What do we want, ladies and gentlemen? What do we want? Well, we want to bust out our second Slifer, so I reckon we go for either Condemned Witch or Raz Disciple, since I've got an Angel 01 in my hand. But Raz Disciple will remove the need for removing Angel 01 from our hand, so we'll set up the deck. Or if my opponent has 3 monsters, Soul Crossing, like just Soul Crossing it, get rid of everything. Easy, no problem, whatever. So easy, so easy. Okay. The True Name. I guess Raz Disciple, OMG, what are the odds? Now I special summon Obelisk straight from my deck. Special summon. Boom. Second. Next we normal Raz Disciple. Raz Disciple will summon 2 more of itself straight from the deck. This probably won't be an OTK, but it'll be close at least. I mean, it might be. We've got Reckless Greed as well, let's not forget. Next up, what do we do now? Tribute 3. 1, 2, 3. Normal summon Slifer. We have an extra normal summon thanks to card advance. Gives us an extra tribute summon. Alright, now Thunder Force. Your opponent, assuming they have at least one monster, then you draw one card as well. So you can only attack with one monster this turn. That's the trick with that, unfortunately. So probably not an OTK, very sad. But it might be, depending on, let's say they have a full board of monsters, you draw 5 cards. Like, you gotta draw at least one. Right, and then Reckless Greed will give you 2 more. So now we only need 4 more. So yeah, if they have 5 monsters on the field because your opponent is a tryhard, boom, you draw 2, 3, 4 more cards and then attack for 8,000. Probably won't happen, but it could, especially against the meta. So that's the deck. And then yeah, even if it doesn't happen, okay, if that's not the case, don't true name special summon Obelisk because he'll just go to the graveyard during the end phase, or just don't Thunder Force attack. It's all situational, right? It's all very situational. Soul Grossing instead, get rid of all their monsters, much more efficient. But if they have 5 monsters in that case, yeah, just 8,000 attack Slifer for game. But yeah, that's a whoops. I don't know what I did there. Replay. No thank you. So yeah, that's the deck. Let me put that back up on screen for y'all, and then I'll wrap up the video. So that's it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe for more. That is the end of the Egyptian God Structure deck series. Oh no! Yeah, that's the end. That's the final deck. 3 of each deck. And, dare I say, it's pretty awesome. It works well. It works really well. I'm actually surprised by it, and I hope you guys like it too. So let me know if you built this deck for yourself, if you think this deck is pretty awesome and fun to play with. Now, over the next month, maybe 2 months even, I'll be going over even better Egyptian God decks, okay? We're not going to be looking at the structure decks anymore. We're going to be looking at some real Egyptian God decks, including with the Winged Dragon of Ra. I've already made a Winged Dragon of Ra deck before. If you want to see that, I'll put a card up here if I remember. You can check that out. It's pretty awesome. It's Blaze Cannon decks, Winged Dragon of Ra specifically. But I'm going to be making all 3 gods together in one deck, and even we're going to be wrapping up with the Creator of Light, and that is going to be an amazing deck. I made a Creator of Light FDK, perfected it, and it's bloody awesome. It is so good. So be sure to look forward to that. Subscribe and hit the bell icon if you love Egyptian gods as much as I do. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and until next time, see ya.